Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Red and Blue Review. I am your host. I am Nick Philpott, in case you didn't know. And as you can see, doing his washing in the background is Ian Lyons. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Well, I was doing all right until you've announced to the world that I'm doing my laundry.
Ladies,
Stop wearing dirty linen in public, young man.
don't rinse your dirty linen in public. You are absolutely right. Okay, so that crosses off half of what we were going to talk about tonight. Oh, God. Okay, right. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, obviously, we've got no match to review, so we're going to cover a few subjects. But actually, do you know what? This is your show. We do this. We give up our Sunday nights for thee. Okay, we want you to come on and tell us in the chat exactly what you would like us to talk about. We will talk about any subject Palace related that you want us to, and we'd be happy to do so. We're going to be talking about Palace's return to training, of course we are. We're going to be talking about the season tickets, the new thing that they're talking about for season tickets, and the fact that they haven't done it. Evening, Paul, I can see you out there, mate. I hope you're well, buddy. Jordan, I can see you. Hello, mate. Any questions you've got, put it in the chat. Okay, we are looking at them as we are speaking to you live. Gel's not with us this week. He's doing... Go on, mate.
Paul Holden wants me to do his ironing. Now, Paul, I'm very good at ironing. I might take you up on that.
Yeah, so am I. But don't tell the missus, otherwise she'll want me to do it. Right, so... We are going to be talking about anything you like. Paul McNamara. Sorry, mate. I can't.
Butcher someone's name in seconds.
I'll stay with Nigel Croucher because I can read his name. So, as you can see, this is just going to be a chat. It's going to be a chat about anything you want to talk about. We don't care. This is your show, and we are live for you. But before we get into the show, ladies and gentlemen that are watching us now, and I can already see there's loads of you on there, could you do something for me, please, in return? Teresa, hello, darling. Could you do something for me? Could you kindly hit the share button on your Facebook page, wherever you're watching it from, and share it to the world, please? Hit the share button right now and start your own watch party, and so we can pick up as many people watching on your wall. Andrew Adams, hello, mate. And what we'd like you to do is share it. Tell the world on your own private wall that we're here, and we would love them to come along and say hello, like Luke Cooper and George Uwagwu did. George, come and say hello, mate. Jump on, push that link that I told you about earlier, push the red button that I told you, and come and say hello to the boys. Because as you can see, we are in a really relaxed mode, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can also find us on Twitter, YouTube, Big Heads Media at any time. Either watch, listen, or download to this or any of our other podcasts. Ask your Alexa, play the latest Red and Blue Review podcast, or simply go to redandblue.co.uk. Yeah, I know you're listening for it, Ian, because it literally is the other side of that wall. Okay, and one night, you know it's going to happen, didn't you? Should I try again?
All over Caterham.
All over Caterham or wherever. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are the only podcast you can watch. Thank you. Let's have a conversation. Now, let's literally have a conversation. Lee Lockwood, I can see you. Hello, mate. Come and join us. Come and jump on and say hello. Nigel Rose, I can see you too. Thank you. I missed what Andrew just said. Did you see what Andrew just said? Oh, transfers, and if you have to sell to make purchases.
You just carry on with the seamless link, and I'll write it down.
So what we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about the Palace's return to the training. We're going to talk about the season tickets, because I've got a question about the way they're doing season tickets, and I know that they haven't released all the details behind it yet. So I think there will be some stuff to talk about on the season tickets. Up to you. What do you want to talk about? You tell me. So Palace's return to training is what we're doing. We're going to kick off with. So, as you know, the boys have arrived back at Cooper's Coop. Players returned to Beckenham training ground this week. Palace players have been back at the club's training base after the Premier League voted unanimously to implement the first phase of the return to training protocol, which means the players can return to training in small groups, observing social distancing with no contact permitted at this stage. but we know that's about to change as well. But in order to maintain social distancing and enable players staff to return safely, Palace have had to adapt their procedures and protocols significantly at the training ground at Cooper's Coop. Now, Ian, first question to you, if you don't mind, okay, and I'll be very grateful if just do you think it's too early?
No. No,
Really?
I don't think it's too early. We've seen the Bundesliga going on, and I think, obviously, Tory advisors apart, pretty much most of the country have stuck with what we've been asked to do, and as a result, our rate's gone down. London, especially, is in a good place, and the country as a whole is working towards coming out of this just crazy times. And as we've seen, I don't know if you've seen it, I don't know if the people watching have seen it, the little video that Palace have put up with regards to the length of time, or the lengths they've gone to in order to ensure that the players can train and come back. Now, the protocols, there are 3 phases that they need to go through in order to satisfy the requirements to then go back into the Premier League fixtures. Now, phase 1 has obviously started last week, but clearly they've been working really hard behind the scenes. They've been working with the likes of Kent County Cricket to ensure that they can use their car park for players to turn up fully kitted up, have a test. The results of that test will then tell them whether or not they're showing signs, or whether or not they can then just park up 2 metres apart. They then, once they get the okay to park up, they then park up. They then go for a little warm up, and also bearing in mind that they're all turning up in groups of 4/5 at a prescribed time. They're not all turning up together, so they're all turning up at a prescribed time in their own little individual groups. And even the groups themselves are designed to prevent cross-contamination. You don't want all the defenders to turn up and then a defender to show signs, and then the whole of our back 4 are down. So what they're doing is that they've got a defender, a midfielder, a striker, and a winger turning up.
Yeah.
So they're doing their warm up still on Kent County Cricket, and then they're walking. Then they pick up their own boxes, which they've been given anyway, with all their vitamins and everything else in it, and their own training gear, and then walk over to a specially designated set-up pitch, which from the look of it is set up into essentially 4 swim lanes, if you like. Within each one, that the player sticks in that swim lane more than enough distance apart from one another, and they go through the same drills time and time again. So I think that what we've already seen, and the feedback that someone like Andros Townsend is giving with regards to, how up for it the players are, etc., is that I think we're already moving towards pushing for phase 2.
Well, it's funny you should mention phase 2, because I was coming on to that now, because my understanding is that the FA have got to notify UEFA by Tuesday what the resolution to these to phase 2 is. I'm just going to read you the notes that Palace put out on Friday, in case anybody out there missed it. It's quite long, so just bear with me a second. So Crystal Palace players returned to grass pitches of Cooper's Coop after a 10-week absence today. But it will be a session like no other before. Indeed, there will be 3 sessions during the afternoon in what will be an extraordinary but welcome change to the routine for the players. Across the afternoons, the 3 allotted time slots, 25 players will arrive in full training kit at Kent's cricket ground, Beckenham site, adjacent to our training centre. The club has acquired the use of Kent's cricket facilities next door, as a car park is considerably larger, affording the players and staff a safe passage onto and exit from the club's pitches. Upon arrival in designated parking areas, the players will have their temperature taken in their cars, fill in a questionnaire on the app, okay, and only when they are clear will they be allowed to leave their vehicles. The players' pre-activation routine prior to the training will be undertaken outside as supplementary gym work. Outfield players will train in groups of 4+1 goalkeeper, maintaining a social distance at all times. These non-contact sessions in small groups is permitted under Phase 1 of the Premier League's Project Restart, which allows players to build up pitch conditioning and conduct basic ball work only. And in Phase 2, will larger group sessions and contact be permitted. Only essential medical treatment can be administered to the players after sessions, with no massages nor soft tissue treatment. Players will then depart the session, eat and shower at home rather than on site. Now, I know we're about to jump here, Ian. Okay, so forgive me, but I just wanted to. I asked a question right at the top of the show for people to come up with suggestions about what we're going to be talking about. Now, Laurie Scott has asked a question already in the chat. Okay, I want to pay homage to it because I want to come back to it. So please don't let me forget it. Laurie says, "Why should I, as a pensioner, donate my season ticket refund to the academy when the club paid Benteke 130 grand a week?" Now, Laurie,
he doesn't.
and that's the whole point. Shall we do that point on the agenda now, Ian? Now he's asked the question. Shall we cover that off right now? Because I'm quite happy.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back and forth, so it's not a problem. So, yeah, thanks for messing up the schedule, Laurie. Season tickets. Okay, so as we know, and as Laura's alluded to, an email went out Friday, and the club offering full refunds. I don't know whether full refunds is quite right. I think maybe it might be a full refund for remaining fixtures. That's what I'm assuming. And then they're going to do it in two phases. They're going to do it in phase 1 for people that have got match tickets, and that's going to be from Tuesday. And then phase 2 is going to be for season ticket holders. That's going to be soon after that. Now, for the match ticket holders, they're the only options that have actually been shown. They've got an option of waiving the refund in favour of the academy, which is what Laura's quite rightly alluding to donate to Palace for Life Foundation, or to simply take a full refund. So, you know, Laurie may ask the question, but you're under no obligation to do it.
Okay. Can I just jump in a second?
Which will be for season tickets.
Right. Okay. So on that last point, okay, this is what the club have put out this week. Okay, or indeed, I think it was only yesterday actually. As it is now clear, the remaining games in the 2019-2020 season will be played behind closed doors, and all ticket holders are entitled to a full refund. Now, I can't remember, but whether it's 4 at home or 5 at home, still to be played out the 9. Either way, it doesn't make any difference. You're entitled to a full refund. And as Ian just absolutely correctly said, this will be done in 2 phases. Phase 1, match ticket holders only for the home and away matches from Tuesday the 26th at midday. Phase 2, now this is the bit I wanted to talk to you about, Ian. Phase 2 will be season ticket holders only. Options will follow as soon as possible next week. That's the bit I want to talk about. Week commencing the 25th of May. A sizable number of supporters have contacted us indicating that they would rather the funds help the academy or the Palace for Life Foundation than be returned to them. Okay, we will therefore be providing all match ticket holders with 3 options, and there was a link for you to click on below. Now, I semi-agree with what Laurie was talking about, but my point is, and I hope it says on there, options will follow for season ticket holders as soon as possible, maybe next week. One thing that they haven't talked about, okay, is whether the money that you'll be owed can be then transferred onto a future season ticket. And somebody has pointed out
one of the options.
Well, yeah, they haven't talked about it, and one thing that bothered me is, as a season ticket holder of 5 season tickets, and 4 or 5 games remaining at home, I would want to transfer it over. Somebody then pointed out to me, well, hang on a minute, that's actually not as straightforward as you are talking about, okay? Because if you think about it, each game is categorised at a different price. Okay, multiply that by 25,000 season ticket holders sitting in different areas of the stand. It's going to be a logistical and an administrative nightmare for the club to be able to solve if that's what we really want them to do. Just say, for example, 10,000 of us want to have any monies that are owed to us transferred onto next year's season tickets. Okay, and I can't remember. I can't remember what the home games are that are coming up. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it was Norwich, it was Man United, Liverpool, and another Aston Villa. So you've got 2 top games, category A. You've got two B games, category A. Category C. Now, how would they work the value out of my season ticket in the lower Homesdale against your season ticket in the main stand and be able to refund it correctly? And I'm just going to quickly send a message to Lucy. Lucy, I can hear the same feedback, and it's not me. Carry on, Ian.
I can't answer that clearly. I mean, there are obviously going to be lots of different issues, but for me, the most sensible thing is if we've got all season tickets of differing values, then quite simply you just divide the number of category A, category B games or whatever to find the average for each. Whatever we had left is what your amount of money is, and then just apply it as a discount to the next season. You know, if you choose to change your ticket, then that money is still relevant because that's what you would have paid this year. I think another point that we're all missing is how much of the season are we going to see actually in the stadium next year? What is the season? What is the season look like? For those who haven't seen last week's show, I would highly recommend you going back and watching it, stroke listening to it, because we had Kieran Maguire on from Sky Sports, the foremost guy, football finance guy, and we were discussing moving forward as to how we are going to consume our football for our clubs, and it could be that they offer us a virtual season ticket instead, allowing us access to certain games. So, who's to say that's not going to happen? There's definitely a lot to come out of this. And I think that clearly they've been doing a lot of thinking. Those options that we've already mentioned with regards to those guys that have already got match tickets and that, then obviously I think those options are going to come into play for us as season ticket holders. But I think we're going to have far more variety open to us. And no, I haven't got a second mic on, whoever's saying I have. So.
Okay, Nigel Croucher, I know you're out there. He's just correcting me by saying it's not 3 A's and 1 B. Nigel, I don't know what it is. That's what I'm asking you. As my right-hand man out there, do me a favour. Could you just have a quick look at the 3 or 4 home games that are left, or 4 or 5 home games? A, let us know what they are, but B, can you please let us know what category they fall under? Because it's relevant to what we're talking about in terms of how they go about these refunds. Lots of stuff going through. Paul Holden said, I just thought, imagine all them rip-off sites that inflate the ticket prices for their own gain. No profits this time. No ka-ching for them. Hopefully the touters have made a loss. Good point. Adra Adams saying, remember Nodes selling long-term season tickets and then sold the club to a new owner, lost out in that revenue. Teresa saying, our sound is now fixed. I wonder if it's because I've removed my headphones. That should be. It could be something to do with that. It's going to be a nightmare. I mean, I don't know, something did feedback there. So personally, I would want any remaining funds from my season tickets. I want it to be my decision whether I want it to donate to the academy or charity of my choice. Okay, which I may well do. But there again, I may get furloughed in a couple of weeks' time. So therefore, I want to be able to do what I want with those funds. So A refund is probably worthwhile, and B, the worst thing I'd like to do is transfer it onto next year's season ticket. At the moment, we're all We're all different. We're all different. So, I mean, what would your prefer be, Ian?
I'm not really fussed, if I'm perfectly honest. I'll wait and see what options there are.
And ladies and gentlemen out in the chat, I'm just waiting for somebody to come and join. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you would think. So, would you say off next year's season ticket? Would you say off go to the academy or a full refund? You tell me in the chat what you were thinking. George, can you turn some light on in the background, mate? Because we can't see you. You're very dark, and your Wi-Fi doesn't look fantastically strong. And we'll come back to you in a minute. If you can just drop him down loose because he's extremely dark. That's a bit better. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to introduce you to a young man who is constantly in our questions crew. Now, the questions crew, George, I'm going to let you tell them about the questions crew in a minute and what it was set up for and everything else in a second if you be so. But first of all, George Uwagwu, welcome to the Red and Blue Review. I know you've been on watching right from the beginning. How you doing, mate? And we can't hear George at all. George, are you on mute? Yeah, you're muted, George.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Now you're off mute.
Hi,
I can hear
hi
you.
everyone. How's everybody doing from the Red and Blue family, as I say?
Welcome aboard, buddy. Welcome aboard. Now, George, as a founder member of the questions crew, I would like you to tell everybody listening what the questions crew is and what it is about, please.
Okay, the question cruise, what it is, we like to obviously try and get the best questions over to all the guests. So obviously anything to do with the football side of it. And we just basically talk about anything in regards to the game and how the game went, what's going to happen next, the transfers and all the little bits together that, but people collate in. We put it as together and then we sort of like make it nice and neat and then pass it over to Nick. And obviously he would then pick the best. But obviously we also do a lot in the sense of giving feedback as well and putting in some very, very good questions. So we have a look and sort of like sift through all the good questions and then sort of like organize in the background, basically. That's what we do. And I thoroughly enjoy it because there's a very, very, very good team there. Very, very good team.
Mate, you are prolific in there. You are absolutely prolific in there.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
Can you not see the bags under my eyes where you're still messaging at 2 o'clock in the morning? Okay. Look, before you joined the questions crew, I didn't have grey hair.
But it's a great family. I really thoroughly enjoy it. And everyone, they make me feel welcome there. Andrew, Teresa, Lee, to name a few, all great people. Lucy as well, who works behind the scenes. Fantastic. And yourself as well. So, we have a great time. Obviously, we speak about all sorts of stuff in regards to Palace, the ups and the downs, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
So, George, where can they find you on match day?
Oh, if they can find me at the fan zone. I work at the fan zone, so basically I meet and greet. Right, if you come down to the actual fan zone, that tends to be by the Sainsbury's side. I'm there meeting and greeting even on the cold days, and yeah. So if you're ever down there, just pop in and say hi. It's a very, very sort of like, you could say, a very welcoming area. The family, anyone, from young to old, is all welcome down there. We always make everyone welcome. We also give a lot of goodies. So if you're down there, around, check me out. We give a lot of goodies around. From cream eggs to biscuits to all sorts of bits and bobs and memorabilia that we give away. But yeah, it's fantastic. So come along. It's lovely atmosphere.
Anybody watching this, if you go down to the fan zone, look out for George. You won't miss him. Okay, he wears this bright red jacket. Okay, I don't know. He looks like an orange lollipop standing there.
Without the stick.
Without the stick. No, he gets that from me. So when you go up there, make sure you say to George that you are part of the Red and Blue Review family, and I know whatever he's giving away that day, he'll give you an extra one, won't you, George?
Definitely. Come on, bring your kids along. It's a real family thing.
And the reason I brought George on this evening is because I want you guys to know about the questions crew, that what they do in the background is they formulate what happens in the show. So they formalise the questions. We've got lots of special guests lined up for you in the background that I'm not allowed to tell you about. Am I, Ian? No, he's gone off now. I can't hear him either. So we're not allowed to tell you about the special guest that we've got lined up because we've got quite a few surprises coming. I promise you, we've got some good stuff. Now, the questions crew, and there's about 10 people in the questions crew, they have formulated a lot of the questions. Ian's done all he's actually got it all together. He's gathered it all together, and I'm very grateful for his hard work. But the questions crew are pivotal to what we're going to do to take this show forward over the next couple of months. And I thank them, each and every one of them that's involved in it, for all the hard work and effort that they do. It's really, really good. Ladies and gentlemen, George, very quickly, if you don't mind, I'd like you're getting messages in the chat, by the way. Pop down and George.
Okay, so
Andrew Adams is saying, pop down and George will buy us all a pint. Paul Holden's saying, nice one, George. Okay, Red and Blue family's coming up. So, George, give us a quick background to your Palace supporting career. How long have you been watching them? What was your first game? Your sound's gone off again.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I just knocked the button off. No, I've been watching them now for, I could say, at least, about 9-10 years now. So I've been a Palace fan. I even before I joined up as a fan zone person, I was supporting Palace. But as I say, I just enjoyed them. I think the first game I watched is not long when they came up from the Championship into the Premier League, and I'll never forget that game. It was really, 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 really good. And from then on, I just followed them. And because I live locally, it was the sensible thing to do. So, so when I got this job, this temporary job that I say, or should I say the job, voluntary job that I do at Selhurst, I couldn't wait to do it because I've got a sort of like a very friendly persona, so I just knew that this would be fantastic. Not only that, I've met a lot of the players, I've met a lot of the older players, and some of the new players, but not from close on. But as I say, but I just enjoy it. I get a lot of stick from Liverpool supporters, but I always stick up for the red and blues because deep down in my heart.
Before I let you go, I've got one more question for you.
Certainly.
We were just talking about what to do with any funds left over from season tickets or any monies that are owed to you for next season. If you had a choice, I don't know if you even have a season ticket, but so I don't know if you've actually. I know, of course.
I've been a gold member.
Oh, yeah, you're showing your age there, mate. So, so what do you think the club should do with people's money regarding tickets for the remaining games of the season?
It'd be a good idea. Somebody mentioned why not reinvest it in the academy? That's my personal opinion. Reinvest it in the academy. Do you think? That's what I would do.
There's a lot of people. In fact, I'm going to come back to it in a second.
Or is that wrong for me to say that?
No, not at all. Listen, that's what this show's about. We are all different, and we all have our own opinion. Okay, and I think a lot of it depends on people's personal circumstances at that time. A lot of people are not working at the moment. People have lost their jobs out there. Each individual member, Palace supporter, will have a different view, and not one of them's wrong. Okay, mine's not right, and yours is not right. It's not wrong, is what it is. Okay, and I think it's important that the club make sure they cover all the bases. I understand it's going to be an administrative nightmare for them to resolve, but we're going to come back to it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the famous George Uwagwu. Find him on match days in the fan zone. Talk to him on the questions crew. Engage with him on the page. One of the loveliest blokes you'll ever meet. Thank you for joining us, George.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, all of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, stay safe and be happy. Yeah,
cheers, buddy.
Stay safe. Bye.
Right, Ian. Getting back to the things on the funds. Okay, he is literally the life and soul of the party inside the questions crew. Neil Chatterjee said, "I would donate my season ticket money, but I want a refund on my away season tickets." Again, something I hadn't even considered. Great shout, Neil. Teresa Baker, I'm a bit disappointed we are not going to get summer fixtures. Was looking forward to watching in shirt and shorts. No, me neither. Andrew Adams says, I'm with you, Nick. People will have less cash or possibly no jobs. So discount off next year's season ticket would work, but maybe it's a link to the sale of the club. No, that's the point. Okay, might be worth picking up. Lee Lockwood, another member of the QC. Hey, buddy, I hope you're well. He likes to be known as the Hood. He says what they should have done is to offer the club merchandise, i.e., new shirts, etc., as an option, or if suitable for fans, parish points for another one. The discount on the future season ticket just won't happen, guys. I'm just trying to see if there's any other thing as I'm going through. No, I think that's about it. Go on, Ian. Your thoughts, please.
Well, for a start, what an absolute legend George is. What a lovely guy.
He is a superb, and he is just red and blue review through and through. He loves everything that we do, and he wants to be involved, and that's the questions crew. And what remiss of me, by the way, talking about the questions crew, ladies and gentlemen, anybody out there in red and blue land, particularly want to come and join us on the questions crew, it's 24/7. If you can't stand your phone going ping, ping, ping at all times of the day and night, and invariably it's George Uwagwu, okay, don't join it, okay. But if you want to talk Palace, okay, and talk about forming the show, getting the show onto the next level, we like what we do. We are your show. Then if that's something for you, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me or Ian. Ian, you keep muting.
Sorry,
you're on now.
I'm not touching anything other than my pen. If I can jump on the back of that, I think that we are certainly very mindful of the talent, the knowledge, and the eagerness of people to watch us, and on a regular basis. And people want to get involved. So, as Nick says, if you want to get involved, you're more than welcome. Don't be shy. And the way that we're moving, and I know that Lucy muted me as Nick asked me the question because she probably knew that I was going to have a fit. We are working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but a lot of it involves more interaction with you guys. And that's definitely what I think probably sets us apart from a lot of other pods at the minute. So long may that continue. People like Teresa, who you may have seen, getting to know you video again. If you haven't, look at that. We've done a number of other videos with other people that we'll release soon. You've seen George. We're hoping to get a few more people onto the live show moving forward. That's what it's about. We're all in it together. We also, we all have one defining common denominator, and that is obviously Palace. And that's the way we'll move forward.
And already,
so
Ian,
get back to the question.
Yeah, go on.
What was it?
What do you think the club should do with reference to people's monies on the season tickets?
I think any sensible business will offer all options. Clearly, a lot of the options, other than a full refund, are about keeping the cash in house, because cash flow obviously is the lifeblood of any business, and then they don't have to pay out. I think where a lot of companies are struggling, certainly in the travel industry at the minute, are struggling when people are wanting to, they've committed a lot of expenditure on the basis of what they've received, and now people are wanting to take it back out, leaving them high and dry. So I can understand why a lot of the majority of the options will be different ways to keep the money within the club. And that makes perfect sense. But I'm pleased to see that we are only one at the time that the email went out. I think it was just us, Bournemouth and West Ham, that had actually offered a full refund. And if that's the case, they're to be applauded.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just looking at some of the messages. People talking about the questions crew. Lee Lockwood said, my missus thought I had a bit on the side at first with so many notifications coming through on the questions crew. Laurie Scott. Okay, Laurie, listen, mate, from what I can understand, you are a sensible, smart and intelligent human being, yet you have just offered come and join us on the questions crew. Either you like your phone going ping, 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 or you're mad, one or the other. Okay. But anyway, thank you for your offer. We'll be in touch as Lucy's already said here. So, one last thing, if you don't mind, on the questions crew. Very important. Graham Kitcher, are you watching? Pay attention. Sit up in bed if you are listening. On behalf of, ladies and gentlemen, Graham has been poorly recently and has had to spend a little bit of time in hospital. Okay, and he is also a family member of the questions crew. On behalf of everybody at Red and Blue Review, on behalf of everybody in the questions crew, Graham, we send you our love, and we are there for you if you need us for anything. And on it, you know that because me and you have had a conversation privately on many occasions. We're here for you, mate. If you need us, you pick up the phone and talk to me, Ian, Lucy, or any of the guys in the chat. We are here for you, and I hope you're feeling better soon. God bless you, mate. God bless you. Right, so now I know you wanted to talk about Germany testing in other clubs. You wanted to have a 5 minutes on that.
Andrew has been throwing questions up around about the same thing. He's hoping to get noticed. Andrew's another one of our prolific people in the questions crew, talking about sponsorship, and that, maybe that's a potential avenue for clubs, extra sponsors. Andrew, the honest answer is I don't know. Maybe it's a question that should have been asked last week, or perhaps Kieran actually did answer it. So maybe go over last week's show to see about that. I can't think at the minute, with all the contracts and all the players involved, that extra sponsorship is going to happen anytime soon. But you never know. I mean, these are strange times, so they will have to cut their cloth accordingly. Going back to before Laurie kindly derailed us, going back to the phase one of getting back, clearly it's going well. A lot of the clubs are back in. There have been a few positive tests, which is to be expected. I mean, I think we're only talking about 6 out of 1,200 now, so that's a minuscule percentage-wise. So it shows that they're working in a sterile environment. I know that you have said that the FA or the Premier League need to let UEFA know by Tuesday, but they're not making a decision on whether to move to phase 2 until Wednesday. So I don't know whether or not it's chicken before the egg or whatever, but clearly there's going to be a decision made when the clubs get back together on Wednesday as to how well it's gone, etc., etc. Now, obviously, jumping on to the point you were making, phase 3 will then come on board, and then we'll be in a position to get full contact, full squads, and then be ready to go. Obviously, Germany have got there already. They're 2 weeks now ahead of us. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will know that even to get to phase 1, and to agree that we need to be working towards actually playing behind closed doors, certain clubs were bemoaning the fact that it was going to potentially be at neutral venues and saying, the majority of our remaining games are at home, etc., etc. We can't afford to lose home advantage. Well, I've done some stats of the first 2 weeks' fixtures, the Bundesliga, and of the 15 fixtures so far, only 20% have resulted in a home win. 53% have resulted in an away win, and a further 26, the remaining 26, have resulted in a draw. So that absolutely blows out of the water this misnomer about playing in your home venue. It clearly is not making that much of a difference, certainly for the Bundesliga. And I think it will probably be more of a hindrance, if I'm perfectly honest, because they've already got it in their head that it's going to boost their performance somehow. When it's not going to help them when players are going to be running past them with the ball and stuff in their back of the net.
Interesting stuff. I mean, what's your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Before you answer in the chat, can I ask you to bear in mind, please, that there is a bet going on between him and me, okay, as to whether the season will even start again. There is a curry in it, okay, and I don't want to buy him a curry, okay. So if the season is going to start, do you think we're jumping too early? Do you think the Premier League, because of the money situation, is jumping too early? Do you think that they should abandon the season altogether so nothing else happens again and not a ball is kicked in, I would like your views in the chat. Lee Lockwood, going back to what we were saying about in a minute. Lee, I can see your message. The club could do well in asking fans a set of amounts to have their names on the shirt. I think Real Madrid did it once, and it proved very popular. All fans had their name on in tiny letters put on the shirt. I presume you're talking about using the season ticket money, Lee, for that point. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. And I've got a completely separate question for you, Ian. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen out there, just so you know, Luka Milivojevic, the perennial yellow card man. Okay. Are you aware how close to another suspension he is? And I must thank Nigel Croucher for supplying me these statistics. Okay. He said, question for Sunday night. How long before Luka picks up a 3-match ban? Does Roy just give the armband to Gary Cahill for the rest of the season as soon as that comes along? He is now on 9 bookings already. Okay, one more and he gets a 3-match ban. So what happens to the armband then? Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, over to you. I want to know your thoughts. Does Roy automatically give it to Gary Cahill now? Okay. Does Roy wait until the end of the season? Does he just give him the armband for the 3 matches that Luka will inevitably miss, because it will happen? And incidentally, there are some other players, and I've got the whole lot in front of me. James McCarthy's on 6 bookings. Jordan Ayew's on 5. James MacArthur is on 5. James Tompkins is on 5. Benteke and Zaha are both on 4. So it's not inconceivable that they all pick up some sort of suspension before the end of the season. Unlikely, but I know not as bad as Luka's. Ian, your thoughts, please, on Luka to do about the issue with Luka.
Well, I think we said even before lockdown started and the whole lot ended that Luka shouldn't even get straight back in the side. I think because we'd started doing well without him. I still think that stands. However, clearly this break has given Roy exactly what he needed, and he's got to have the full squad to choose from. And Luke is very much one of his favoured sons, isn't he? So he's going to find a way of getting him back in. As to whether or not that then results in him going straight back out, I don't know what the league are going to do about totting up of bookings, etc., etc. Are they still in place? Have they mentioned anything about it? No. I'm assuming it would make sense to keep everything as it was, and if so, then yeah, I think matters will run their course, and we'll lose him for 3 games after having waited 2.5 months to get him back.
Very interesting. George Uwagwu says we need Luka. Joan Wells. Joan, I saw your lovely message about what you're doing in the background. I appreciate it. Thank you for your lovely comments. Okay. And Joan says Cahill should be captain. Tim Richards down in New Zealand says Benteke for captain. Remember the expression, Tim, just say no, and it applies to you. Interesting, very interesting. Somebody else, I can't remember who it was, somebody said, where will we be playing the games, assuming the games get started? There is no, I assume it's going to be St George's Park or somewhere like that. Is that right?
I thought it was, I'm expecting it to be back at our own grounds.
If I'm a betting man, okay, and I'm not, as you know, not a very good one anyway. If I'm a betting man, these games will be played on a place where they've got multiple pitches, so they can get multiple games. I think there's 92 games left or something in the whole season, and they will play lots of them at something like St George's Park, where they've got multiple pitches. Even Chelsea's training ground at Cobham, they've got, I think the number was 36 full-size pitches down there that they could easily play these games on. You were about to say something, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I can't see that. And I think that was half the battle that we were discussing just a minute ago, is that teams weren't willing to play the games at neutral venues, and therefore they're only willing to proceed if the games are going to be played at their own stadiums. Look at the Bundesliga. They're being played in their own stadiums. I mean, today, I think, or yesterday, wasn't it, the Spanish Prime Minister announced that La Liga was going to be back on, or looking to be back on the 8th of June, and that will be in their own grounds as well. So, and they've been on a harsher lockdown than we have. I think we're still in a lockdown mindset, and I think that's part of the challenge of moving back into business as normal. We've got to understand that in order to get out of this, we're going to have to be. They're in a sterile environment. They're probably in a far safer environment and have been for the last week than pretty much most of us. Okay, they're not gonna put that at risk after having screamed and shouted, stamped their feet to get the league back up and running by doing something that is going to cause them problems moving forward. I don't see an issue with them turning up at stadia. That means that they just play behind locked doors. I do not see an issue with it. I think we are overprotective. I think we're overcautious at times and not giving people due credit for, again, what we started with, the steps that have been taken every part of the way. And they're not just going to throw that away just by letting everyone jumping in four into a car and then driving up the M6, are they?
Well, it's good enough for one of the government advisors, whatever his name was. Okay, so what was his name? Dominic, whatever his name was. Yeah, that bloke. Right, I want to talk about something that John Knox has just asked. Now, Ian, please read the message that's on the screen if you can see it, okay? Because I want you to tell me whether I can answer him correctly or not. So John Knox asks, do you know if we will be able to watch the matches live on TV? Now, I know that we are working very hard on something in the background. Do I talk about it?
But I think what John's talking about is whether or not the games on TV.
Yeah, so I would think that nearly all the games will be televised. Okay, John, is the answer to your question.
He said it last week, didn't he? That they would all be what they're likely to do is in order to sweeten BT and Sky is give them more games than they actually paid for in order to keep the money from the contract. So yes, and they will pretty much, I think the government's already indicated that they'll pretty much all have to be free to air as well. And UEFA have already rescinded the ban for showing live 3 p.m. games. So I think this is a watershed moment for the way that we consume football as much as anything else. I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot more games and have access to a lot more games. Maybe for away fans, have clubs selling digital away season tickets, and then the club sending a stream out and allowing fans on to watch for £3 or £5 a game. That then stops all the issues and the concerns that people still do have about people travelling from one end of the country to the other end of the country. There will be no need for it. And at the same time, the club will be taking in income from a game they wouldn't necessarily have got income for in the first place. So in answer to your question, John, yeah, I think all the games will be available.
And I think, as Ian just said through that last piece, that they will be available via a club stream. But as we know, on the club stream, the commentary is very poor, isn't it, Ian?
It is.
He won't let me talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Notice he's not jumping on I threw him out 2 hooks. He's bitten on both of them, and he's not letting me tell you what I want to tell you.
I'm about to take a chunk out of your boat in a minute.
So I am not going to tell you. Okay, so Mickey Philpott said, and no relation, you'd have to question the intelligence of some fans that turn up at the ground when they know that they can't get in. Do you know what? Excellent point. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. You're not going to see the players. You're not going to see any football. Just don't do it. Andrew Adams is saying, moving forward, BT and Sky, etc., needs to reduce the cost. That will reduce illegal streams. Go on, Ian, you were going to say something?
No, I completely agree with talking about fans turning up. But these are people that haven't been listening to social distancing in the first place. These are people that only think about themselves and nothing else. Unfortunately.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and ain't that the truth? Andy Stacey said, if we play at home, who would put in the crowd as a cardboard cutout? So that has been done. I can't remember, and you're right, Andy. I can't remember who's done it. So there is a club that's actually paying to have cardboard cutouts of the owner of that season ticket behind the goal. Okay, can you imagine seeing grey-haired Philpott standing behind in Block B on my own because I'll be paying for it, or you in the main stand, or whatever it is? I think it's quite amusing, but I don't think so. Just one HF flag on its own in the home style. It's just not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. Go on, mate.
Just dress that down in black. You won't notice a difference, will you?
Well, this is very true. Jones said they are all on TV: Sky, BT, and BBC. BBC haven't got as many as Sky and BT, is what she's saying. Paul Holden saying, watching the games on TV, so Man United fans can carry on with life. Still ask for a season ticket refund via Sky. Yeah, I don't know what Paul Holden's saying there. What else have we got to cover? Oh, you alluded to the Kieran Maguire interview from last week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the feedback that we got, we were told that it was one of the best shows that we'd ever put out. So if you did not see the Kieran Maguire interview that we carried out last Sunday, please get onto redandbluereview.co.uk and have a look at it. Okay, calling it back, all our old shows on there, but that one in particular is on there for you to have a look at. Go and have a look at it. Also, it's also available on YouTube as well. Now, we are immensely proud of that interview. That guy is so sought after. If you think football finance is a boring subject, listen to Kieran Maguire. He puts it in layman terms for us all to understand. And last week, it was because I had so much going on here. Okay, it was really remiss of me. I forgot, I neglected, and I got it wrong that I didn't thank Grant Saunders personally and publicly for setting the interview up. Grant and Kieran are neighbours, and he worked very hard in the background on our behalf to set it up. Grant is a friend of mine, okay, and I let him down by not thanking him publicly. So I'm doing it now, and I'm also apologising publicly. There was no malice meant in it. It was just if you could see what's surrounding me here with technology and messages and people talking to me, producer in my ear and everything else, I just forgot and I just cocked it up, and I'm really sorry. You wanted to talk about, before we wrap up, moving away from the Red and Blue news page.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was just to remind everyone that clearly, again, I'm assuming a lot of people saw the statement that we put on the page a few weeks back. We were planning to split from the page, the Red and Blue news and the Red and Blue review splitting purely because of what we got planned over the coming months, weeks and months. And it makes sense for us all to focus on the podcast itself, the show itself for you all, to do you justice. So as a result, we'll be pretty much diverting everything to Red and Blue review page. It's an open page. It's not a closed group like Red and Blue News is. You won't be asked a series of questions and inside leg measurement to join. You know, it's free and open to everyone. And the additional things that we're doing and we're going to be doing will be posted on there only anyway. So go over there. It's going to take you 30 seconds from now. It's a page, so not a group. So when you search, just search for Red and Blue Review on Facebook and give it a like, and then you'll be notified of any announcements moving forward. The next one will probably be getting to know you video that's going to drop on Wednesday. So yeah, hop on over. Next week will be our last show as a conglomerate with Red and Blue News, and then after that we're just solely Red and Blue Review.
So on the getting to know you, who's starring on it? Can you tell us?
I am.
It's you, is it? No, you're.
Yeah, well, yeah,
you're hosting it.
Yeah, well, clearly that's the star, isn't it? As you know these things. But yeah, I've got some pleb called Nick on it or something. So yeah. But it's all edited in the can. As I said before, we've got a couple of others. We've got Wayne, John Knox, Gel's done one. It's a really good one when that goes out. So yeah, so these are the things that we're trying to work on. But as you can, I'm sure you guys can imagine, moderating a group as well as trying to do all this on the sideline, it was just too much. So that's why we're moving across just to concentrate on that, and hopefully everyone's enjoying what we're doing, which is good.
That's right. Listen, again, I've got a touch base with Nigel Croucher up north. At the top of the show, we were talking about the different fixtures and what games are left. Okay, and this is what he's produced. Hopefully, you guys can see it in the chat. Our remaining fixtures, in any order, would we want to play? What would we want to play them in, or do we just go for the original order, which are as follows: Bournemouth away, Liverpool away, Burnley home, Leicester away, Chelsea home, Villa away, Man United home, Wolves away, and then Spurs at home. Now, personally, I don't think we've got many easy games there. I'm just going to do those again, yeah? Bournemouth, I expected to get something. Liverpool, no. Burnley, yes. Leicester, possibly. Chelsea, possibly. Villa, yes. Man United, probably not. Wolves, maybe a draw. And Spurs, a draw. Your thoughts here? We could.
Well, clearly, we haven't got any choice in the matter. But going back to the stats that I just came up with about home advantage, etc., I don't see it. I think that's going to be a great leveler on a number of the games, the away games we got, like Liverpool and everything else. And something else as well is that clubs like Watford, when they got players like Deeney and that refusing to turn up and play, Kante is essentially not going training, etc. How is that going to impact upon them? I wonder. And it'd be interesting to see what sort of pressure certain clubs are putting on behind the scenes for players to actually turn up and play, even though they can't be seen to be doing it. It's going to be interesting when it gets back. It's going to be interesting. It's going to throw a few curveballs, I think, as far as fixtures are concerned. And don't forget, if things stand as the way goes the way you expect them to go, Liverpool could actually win the title playing against us.
Yep. Well, we don't want that to happen, do we, ladies and gentlemen? Nothing would hurt me more. Okay, as he has told you, we've got lots going on in the background, and we are moving over to our exclusive own Red and Blue review page, which is where the show will be from June the 1st onwards. We're working, it's already been announced, so you should know that by now. So if you haven't already done so, pop over now, like the review page, keep in touch, receive the notifications. It'll take no more 30 seconds to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a day there, okay? We haven't got any football. Look, credit to you all. We haven't got football to talk about, but you wanted your Palace fix, okay? There's been loads of you out there listening to us. Please like and share. That's it for today. We will be back next weekend. Hang on. Before I sign off, go for it, Ian.
Questions came up earlier. Tim Richards, best Yorkshire pudding recipe. Mary Berry.
You lot need to get out a little bit more and let's get this lockdown out of the way, okay, for you sad, lonely people. Okay, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week. But before we go, we'd like to say to our friends, some of our friends, Eid Mubarak, if that applies to you. God bless. Okay, everybody else, on behalf of Ian Lyons, Lucy Usher, and all those people on your screen, God bless and thank you very much. I'm Nick Philpott. Good night.